Hey, what is up everybody? SweatahVest here, and today I'm happy to say that we are continuing the .hack timeline. And joining me today is again my good friend TwilightChronos.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
So before we get into this video though, me and Twilight, we want to address a few mistakes that we made in the last timeline video. So, Twilight, if you would be so kind.
First of all, I want to say thank you so much for all your comments, guys, and all your feedback, and correcting us on some things. In regards to the one sin, Balmung and Orca portion of one of the comments, I made it sound like that Balmung, Orca, and Kite were named after the party that defeated them. But what I meant to say was that Balmung and Orca defeated the One Sin, and Kite was later indoctrinated as part of the team because of the ordeal he went through alongside Balmung and Orca in the previous games. As well as the comment regarding the debate over the canon of Legend of the Twilight, you are correct. It is more the manga than it is the anime. The anime is not really considered canon, as the anime took up more of a kiddie type of feel than the manga and is dismissed a majority of the time. And lastly, as far as the Zero comment is concerned regarding .hack 0, I'm looking at it right now where you said that it takes place between Sign and IMOQ, and Beyond the World takes place long after GU in a different version of the world. I did say that it was after the incidents that took place in the other games and anime. We are clearing that up now, so thanks so much for your attention to the detail. It's highly appreciated.
Yeah guys, thanks for all the comments, and if you would be so kind, feel free to place lots more comments in this video as well. So now that we got that out of the way, we are now going to move into the timeline for the World R2. And the discussion on the World R2 is going to begin with the anime series .hack Roots.
In regards to .hack Roots, Haseo, the player formerly known as, spoiler warning, Sora, becomes a PKK, a player killer. Ovan saves him and invites him to join the Twilight Brigade. Confrontations with the Tan Guild looking to steal Ovan's player data. Ovan goes missing, and Shino is a member of the Twilight Brigade as well, gets killed by Tri-Edge and goes into a coma in real life. Haseo tries to seek more power to defeat Tri-Edge, and he goes into the Forest of Pain and receives new power at the cost of his mind, so to speak, as he goes kind of nuts, gaining him the title of the Terror of Death.
Right, so before we go any further than this point, we want to clear some stuff up about Sora, and I want to address a certain comment that was made in the first video by Acer, and he was asking us to go into more detail about the 10-year-old boy that we were talking about, the 10-year-old boy that caused pretty much Pluto's kiss. So we're going to try our best to explain that now. This is going to be a slight spoiler warning, and it has to do with .hack Roots, where we said that Haseo is the character Sora. So again, spoiler warning here. Essentially, the boy who is responsible for the persona Haseo and Sora is a young 10-year-old child named Ryo Masaki, and he's a 4th grader. Essentially, it's unknown if his mind has aged during the long periods that pass between Sign and GU, because, like we said, he is the same person from Sign, Sora.
Whereas he can act a little bit spoiled at times, but also seem a bit mature at times also, so Haseo's character is a bit wonky and a little all over the place.
Right, and essentially what happens is in between the periods of Sign and Roots/GU, he goes into a coma and he loses his memories of the world, and he loses his memories of ever being the PK or Sora. So that kind of explains why he's almost acting like a different persona in GU and Roots. Essentially, the reason he is not told about the actions from the World R1 is that his parents hide the entire ordeal from him, because it's obviously pretty traumatic for a child to be told these things. So this entire time, he pretty much stays oblivious to these things. I'm going to talk about Sora's personality, though, because that's really a big, important part. As a player killer, obviously Sora is kind of, I would say, evil. He enjoys hunting players down. He demands members' addresses in exchange for their lives. He makes a lot of jokes about hunting attractive female players down after he hunts down BT. he often makes comments about being friends with players just to kind of get them to drop their guard, and he does this, and then he shows his true intentions and eventually kills them.
Even though his true intentions are not really well understood or what his motivations are, it's never exactly said.
Right, you can kind of associate the way Sora acts to that of like a serial killer. He kills what could be understood as for the fun of it, although that's really kind of up in the air.
One of Sora's favorite lines, and also one of the best lines to come out of Sign from Sora, was, "First I'll get the treasure chest, and then I'll get you, and then I'll get them all."
Right, and one of the other things too, we placed an image of Sora in the first video, and we're going to put another photo of him here, but the thing that's interesting is that back then, Sora was a Twin Blade class, and as Haseo, as an adept rogue, his first starting weapons are Twin Blades as well. And it almost seems like this is a recurring theme in .hack, since Kite from IMOQ also used Twin Blades. But
it seems like a lot of the main characters tend to lean towards the Twin Blade class, which I kind of wish like one of the characters they focused on was not a Twin Blade, or didn't at least start out as one and then went to other classes like Haseo did. I just wish like they started out like as a Heavy Blade or an Axeman or a Pikeman.
But moving away from .hack roots and this little side story about Sora, we're now going to talk about .hack Alcor.
Yes, Alcor. .hack Alcor, it focuses on Alcade and her days as champion in the arena. You'll know her as champion in the arena from the .hack GU games and series. Alcor focuses on a twin blade named Nanase, who falls in love with Syllabus. If you recall, Syllabus was part of Canard, the original guild that picks up Haseo in the beginning of GU. Nanase joins Canard in order to spend more time with Syllabus. After watching Alcade become the emperor of the Demon Palace Arena, she becomes jealous of how much praise Alcade receives from Syllabus and swears to be better than Alcade so that Syllabus will finally notice her. Nanase is constantly a target of the PK, Bordeaux, and it's revealed that Nanase was formerly a member of Kestrel, which is who Bordeaux is a part of at one point, if I remember correctly, but left and joined Canard. In order to catch her, Bordeaux sends a fake email to Syllabus claiming to be a beginner in need, to which Syllabus doesn't hesitate to help out. However, Nanase chickens out, afraid of messing up with Bordeaux, and leaves Gaspard to get Syllabus on his own. After Alcade hears that Syllabus was PK'd by members of Nanase's former guild, she grows a distaste for Nanase and believes that she set Syllabus up to hurt him. Basically, it's just like a drama, like one of those nice little J dramas or Chinese dramas, that you see on TV. It's a good read, but as far as like really anything .hack goes, it's just a side story. And even though it says here, that it is canon, there's really nothing that ties it in, as none of this actually happens throughout those games. So you don't see any of this. And so it's considered to be going on in the background, apart from the main story.
The only reason I feel like .hack Alcor is important is because it focuses on Alcade in some capacity, and Alcade, in my opinion, is best girl from .hack GU. So,
of course,
it's a great read. Yeah, I ship it. But that's honestly the only connection. And while we're talking about .hack GU, that is actually the next entry in the canon series, and this is going to be the .hack GU trilogy.
The title .hack GU trilogy, that's just the full title of the movie, and basically it's the entire .hack GU series of games condensed into a movie, with voice actors, with the Japanese voice actors from the games reprising their voice roles for the characters in the movie. So fresh lines and new scenes, and you also get a new form that you never saw in the games called Beast form, or B-ST, or BST. Depends on what you want to call it. And they give you a little bit more story, not too much more, but they give you a little bit more and a little more insight on what's going on with the internal politics between Ovan and Haseo, and what's really going on between Shino and Atali, and why Haseo is torn between the two. But other than that, it's really nothing new. It's just a rehash of the games in movie form for people who would rather watch it than play it.
Right, and with .hack GU Last Recode coming up real soon, that's going to provide people an opportunity to play the 3 games once again, as well as a new Volume 4, which is awesome.
Oh, and do bear in mind that we are not sponsored by Bandai Namco to make this video or anything like that. We're just 2 big fans, trying to open up the lore to anybody else. So, and we're just doing this to celebrate Last Recode coming out, because I was hoping they would do it, although I was hoping they would do it with the first 4 games as well. But
yeah, and the way I'm seeing that is hopefully if Last Recode gets a lot of support, maybe they will feel inclined to do a remaster for volumes 1 through 4 for the original.
That's what I'm hoping.
Fingers crossed, so show some support. So, moving outside of that, we're going to now go into .hack GU Online Jack.
Online Jack. When you play the GU games, much like if you remember in the first 4 games of Infection, Mutation, Outbreak, and Quarantine, there came a separate disc with each game called .hack Liminality, which was a sideshow running alongside the game. Well, Online Jack is pretty much the same thing, except it goes on in the game, and it's about a news reporter who reports on what's going on in the game, and the stuff that's going on in the game starts affecting him and his news story, and he starts getting... and all this weird, crazy stuff starts happening. So the further you progress in the GU games, the more of these episodes of Online Jack you unlock, and you could just wash your heart's content. And they're not relatively long. They're like anywhere between 2 to 5 or 2 to 6 minutes apiece. But it's a nice, entertaining side distraction when you want to take a break from running around killing things.
Yep. So those entries we just listed comprise the World R2, which takes place in the year 2017. After the World R2 comes the next iteration of the world, known as the World RX, and this takes place in 2020, and this marks the current end of the canonical story.
Yes, until Episode 4 comes out, which will be added somewhere, but when I say Episode 4, I'm talking about Episode 4 GU.
Yeah, Volume 4 Redemption.
Resurrection.
Oh, Resurrection, right.
But and the only 2 things left in this timeline for the RX timeline is the .hack Link novel and the .hack Link PSP game. Now, whereas the novel is the same thing as the game. It's just, if I were to tell you which one to do and you were to take my advice, I would say read the novel, because as fun as it is to play the game, you're going to get the same story, if not a little less, from the game than you do in the manga and the novel. So I can actually effectively cover both of these in just one go.
I have a question about this though. Mm-hmm. So I heard that with .hack Link, it only ever released in Japan. Is that correct? Did it ever see a Western release?
Are you talking about the game?
Yeah, the PSP game.
Yes, the game was Japan only and never got a Western release. As to the reason why, I'm not sure. I can only speculate that, much like a lot of the other popular franchises that Japan has like Super Robot Wars and everything, they just feel it doesn't have a big enough audience over here in the West to justify a Western release, and that's the only reason why I could think they didn't release it.
So, did they ever release the .hack Link novel outside of Japan?
Yes, they did. You could buy them. You could buy them on eBay, Amazon, or go to your local comic book store that sells, mangas and novels and stuff like that. You can easily find it there.
So I guess that's one reason why the novel could be pretty desirable. At least gives you the chance to experience the story without having to do an import or anything.
Yes. As far as the game goes and the story of Link goes, it's about this boy named Tokyo, who is just a normal high school kid, and the World RX is about to launch after the world has been on hiatus for so long. The world's been gone for a while, and World RX is launching, and Tokyo is so excited, and all his friends are talking about getting it, but his parents don't like him playing games, or they don't like the fact that he spends so much time on games, and so, but he's unable to get the game when it finally comes out until one day he's sitting in class, and this girl that he's been seeing her in his dreams or whatever, but he gets a voice in his head, calls him up to the roof of the school. She goes up there, hands him a brand new portable game, basically a PSP is what it looks like in the manga, and hands him a copy of the World RX and says, "You're gonna save the world." And Tokyo's like, "What?" And he gets sucked into the PSP, into the game, and he has to work to save Haseo and every character you know and love from the entire Dot Hack franchise. He has to save them, bring them all together to defeat the final baddie, and it's the end of the story.
Okay, so with that officially marks the end of the Dot Hack canonical timeline. ... as of now.
Yes.
Hopefully, when, like we said, when Volume 4 comes out, it will add a connection of some sort. That's something to look forward to.
Yes, it is, and I don't know if we will be doing a Dot Hack resurrection video, because I'm not sure how that's going to work out for us because our schedules are so hectic right now. But I will be uploading gameplay videos, and I will be streaming Dot Hack Last Recode on my channel and on my Twitch. So if you guys want to check it out on release day, feel free to swing on by and check it out. I'll have a link to my Twitch in the description below.
Yeah, and for those who are curious, Dot Hack GU Last Recode is going to release Friday, November 3rd. So that's something to look forward to. As far as I know, there are no like pre-order bonuses, at least for physical copies. If you pre-order it on like PSN, I want to say you get a digital wallpaper, which is pretty cool. But personally, I enjoy physical copies, so that's definitely what I'm gonna go with. Mm-hmm. And as for like live streaming, like he said, my schedule is kind of hectic with college, so it's not gonna be the most consistent thing. But I definitely want to try to stream it every once in a while. So look forward to that.
But anyway, guys, that's it for the timeline. We will eventually probably do another one of these videos down the road. We'll just have to figure out when our schedules align to be able to do something and figure out what it is. If you guys would like to see us do anything more Dot Hack related, tell us down in the comments what you would like us to discuss or talk about, and we'll get around to it just as soon as we are possibly able. And let us know your thoughts on the video.
Yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed. Please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe, and check out TwilightChronos' channel. We'll catch you next time. Peace out.
TC out.